Good afternoon, Thunder Nation. How are y'all doing? My goodness, it's been a long 2 weeks. But I'm so excited to be sitting here once again in front of you all to talk about some Thunder basketball. I hope you all have had a good 2 weeks of life and everything that comes with life. I know life can get hectic, life can get busy. Family stuff came up for me. Wasn't able to film an episode last week. But I'm so happy to be back, and I hope you all had a wonderful 2 weeks, especially in your enjoyment of Thunder basketball, okay? I hope you all have been watching and witnessing what I've been watching and witnessing throughout this past 2 weeks and this whole 5-week season so far, because it's been truly incredible. So much to break down, so much to get into. Today on this episode, it's going to look a little different than what we've seen in the past. I'm going to kind of jump around and talk about different things. Some different segments, a little less segments. We're going to it's been a 2-week break. A lot has happened. Obviously, I'm not going to go over every single individual game because we all know what happened. We're going to get into kind of generalizations of everything that's been going down, and then get into the future and the present and around the league. We're going to see lots of different things today. Could be a little quicker episode today. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here talking to you all again. Let me know how y'all have been. It's been wonderful. Our pumpkin's gone. Halloween's over. Hope you all had a great first half of your November. I certainly have. Our new piece of this set. Shout out to my sister. She gave me a little card. She drew the Thunder court. It's absolutely beautiful. Shout out to her, man. She is a Thunder legend. But yeah, anyways, let's get into it. Welcome to the Will to Win show.
After the gather, the two-step.
DB, those tears are but. 2
seasons of NBA.
Our bottom is a very high bottom. Right. Pass. Bang. Welcome back to Hot Takes, folks, for the 5th time. All right, folks, I know I mentioned it. I know you all know it, but the past 2 weeks have been absolutely incredible. Last time I talked to you guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder were undefeated. Sadly, that is no longer the case. We are 7-1 in the past 2 weeks. We are 13-1 total. My goodness. You know what? If you would have told me 2 weeks ago that we'd be 13-1 on the 16th, I would have definitely taken that, let's just say. It's been quite the stretch of games, quite the run. We've now won 5 in a row, I believe. Ever since that loss in Portland, we're going to get into those things briefly. So I guess I kind of want to go through and start off with, some games that mixed in the past 2 weeks. First off, we had our Western road trip out west, started in California, went to Portland, up north, Sacramento, then jumped over to Memphis. It was one of our longest road trips all season. Knocked that out pretty early, which is nice. How about the Clippers game, man? The wall was not intimidating. We were not worried about the wall. Clippers Nation showed out. They were pretty quiet. And honestly, that was a great win. Neutralized them pretty well. Harden, he didn't do much. We're not too worried about the Clippers. Looking at these 2 games, Los Angeles Clippers, Portland Trailblazers, my buddy Dawson was here last week. 2 weeks ago, we were both saying these games felt kind of trap game-ish, and we didn't fall for the trap in Los Angeles, but we headed over to Portland. As you all know, we fell in that game. I want to preface this by saying we had a lot of guys out. Chet was out, Lou was out, for instance. In a back-to-back as well, unfamiliar territory, and a Portland team that's very hungry and dangerous, to say the least. And they played the game of their lives, best game they've had all season. They took us down. But you know what? Not the best shooting night for Oklahoma City. Injuries. Shea, obviously fatigue for lots of people. You go out there and you give Portland an incredible game down to the final buzzer. I mean, if that's what it takes with them playing the best basketball they've played all year, if that's what it takes to beat us, then we're not going to lose very many games, folks. We're not going to lose very many games. But I think it's good to have moments like that. My prediction for our season record is 74-8. I predict that 8 times this season we're going to have to take a look at ourselves, refresh, and figure out what happened and why we lost. And I think adversity is good. The Thunder took some adversity in Portland, and they took it into Sacramento very effectively. Incredible game in Sacramento. Everything was flowing. Everything was moving. NBA Cup game. 1-0 in Cup. I think we won by 30+ in that game. Really a great start to the Cup field. But yeah, that's our 3rd time playing Sacramento. Really neutralized them. Once again, this is our best performance against them. No, wait, that was our 2nd time, I think, playing Sacramento. Our 3rd time's coming up shortly. We've seen them way too much. But it's been good to see them. Good to play them. Really kind of, we struggled. I mean, if you remember that first game against Sacramento, man, it was tough. It was brutal. We came out on top, but they played some amazing basketball. This time, the Thunder really took control and performed excellently. On to Memphis. I watched bits and pieces of this. I was busy. I wasn't able to watch the whole game. I watched a few quarters of it. But I do remember feeling like John Morant was really struggling. Props to Casey Wallace. We'll get into him in a little bit. But great game. Not a great atmosphere. Memphis seems like it's kind of dying a bit. But loved it. It was, Thunder were 3-1 in that road trip. Obviously, you'll take that any day of the week. And so, yeah, what happens next, right? Next thing I want to talk about is our back-to-back home game statements. And that was this past week. These are more fresh on our mind. The road trip games I talked about there were kind of just a refresh, kind of the way back when. Obviously, they're not fresh on my mind and your mind. They happened. They're done. 3-1. Now to this past week, okay? Everyone's looking at these 2 games thinking, same thing I was thinking about Los Angeles and Portland. Trap. Little trappy feel. Warriors and Lakers back-to-back at home. Obviously, you're in the home environment, the home crowd. It's fun. That's a quick reset, a quick flip against 2 good teams, right? How can you adjust and prepare effectively in one day to play the Lakers? Or how do you not come in, not hungry enough against the Warriors and not drop that one? And let me tell you this, guys. The Thunder made a statement. The Thunder made a statement this week with those 2 wins. We're going to break this down more in detail, but the Thunder, I think, kind of broke the NBA a little bit with what they did to the Warriors and then to the Lakers on back-to-back nights. What they did to Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic on back-to-back nights. You don't see this often with these big market, high-caliber star players. Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic in 2 consecutive nights. The Thunder shut them down. And, you couldn't tell a difference between the Thunder playing the Warriors and the Lakers or the Thunder playing, some OU. Like, that was how good the Thunder looked on those 2 nights. Statements. Absolute statements. And then, obviously, yesterday against Charlotte. And that was when I got to watch. It was really fun to watch. Charlotte played a great game. They kept it close, kept with it. No LaMelo Ball, obviously, how do you adjust? Great to see Trey Mann out there getting minutes. Obviously, Trey Mann played with a little bit of fire. Obviously, he wants to win this game. Charlotte played a very physical game. It was good basketball. Very good basketball being played. Thunder were able to pull away and win it. Great performance by Shea and Chet. Great scoring performances, efficient performances. Yeah, so that's a kind of brief gloss through of what we saw in these past 2 weeks. Obviously, I didn't go into much detail because you all know. You all watched it. You don't need me to explain it to you. That's what we saw. And yeah, we should have nothing to complain about. We are being blessed, folks. We are being absolutely blessed by this team. And that kind of takes me to my hot take. Welcome back to Hot Takes, folks, for the 5th time. We are in the Hot Take zone, and we are ready for a big one. A big one. I don't think we've had a small one yet. Obviously, our last one with Dawson, Isaiah Joe enthusiast. Isaiah Joe's the greatest shooter of all time. Don't believe me now? You're not paying attention, right? You don't believe us? You're not paying attention. You're obviously just kind of blind to the truth that's kind of written within basketball, the walls of basketball there. But yeah, this week, I have a big one. Another big one. Huge one. Okay? And it's kind of more of a... Obviously, my hot takes are all subjective. This one's very subjective because it really depends on what you feel is good basketball and what you like to see. Okay? I think everyone would have a different opinion on this. I think a lot of you will agree with me, though, because if you're watching these games right now, you will agree with what I'm about to say. So here's my hot take for Week 5 of the Thunder season. The 2025-26 Thunder, as of November 16th, 2025, are playing the greatest basketball I have ever seen in my life. The greatest brand of basketball I've ever seen in my life. Okay? So like I mentioned, we're off to the best start in franchise history, 13-1. Start of the season, we saw the Thunder kind of struggle a bit to win games effectively and get opening 2 double overtime games to start the season. There's a bit of a hump you're trying to get over to make it more easy on yourself to where you're not playing these extra periods, right? The Thunder have hit that stride. The Thunder are starting to decimate teams. Decimate them from inside to out. Just shatter them. We've seen post conferences from guys like Luka and Steph. We saw Luka say, give his flowers to Casey Wallace. When's the last time you've heard Luka give his flowers to anybody? Steph said, or after their San Antonio performance where he, legendary game, beat San Antonio, win San Antonio, right? They asked him about the loss to OKC, a bad loss. Steph said, who isn't having a bad loss to Thunder right now? We're getting some flowers. People are noticing. You scroll through Instagram, you'll see the NBA. People say, oh, the NBA is cursed for the next 10 years. That's because it might be. And folks, we are on the right side of this right now. We are blessed. We are blessed because the Thunder have found their flow, and we get to watch it 82 nights this season. We've watched it for 14, and I am as happy as I could possibly be, folks. We are blessed. No Jalen Williams. No Jalen Williams. No Dub. Lou hasn't played for 6 of these 14 games. Chet, Isaiah Joe, etc. have been kind of in and out of the lineup. There has been much lineup consistency. All right, we had to dig deep. Like last night against Charlotte, we're seeing a lot of BC minutes. Brandon Carlson, we're seeing a lot of Brooks Barnheiser, which is great. These guys are great basketball players. But it's not like we're out here leaning on our star players exponentially more than we usually are. This is a team brand that nobody can figure out right now. Pure basketball on both ends. And also, as mentioned, Shea has sat 9 of the 14 fourth quarters this season, guys. It is incredible the position the Thunder are putting themselves in entering these fourth quarters to where the best player in the league doesn't even have to step on the floor to win these games. Domination. Both ends. Let's start defensively, right? Unrelenting pressure from our perimeter defenders. Okay? 3 names that come to mind first. Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. All right? Names you don't hear about as much. Defensively, SGA. Last night, SGA, Trey Mann trying to take him one-on-one. Right? Shea locks him down, gets a steal. Right? Shea is an excellent perimeter defender in this league. You don't hear about it because his offensive game overshadows his defensive game. Nonetheless, I'll put Shea on that list. I'll put Isaiah Joe on that list. Isaiah Joe is an elite wing defender. People don't mention it. Watch the games and you'll see it. Okay? AJ Mitchell is not bad himself. The Thunder have the greatest set of individual defenders. We can go front court too. Individual defenders ever accumulated on the same team. I was going to say we could go into making this its own hot take. I mean, this is maybe this for another day. But defensively, Thunder have the greatest individual defenders I've ever seen ever accumulated on the same team at once. I think if you disperse Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso on 3 different teams across the league, all 3 of them are all defensive first-team players. They're on the They're on the same team, though, so they kind of blend together. These 3 defenders are insane. Insane. Okay? We'll get into Kaysen later. Lou Dort, we know what he does. Alex Caruso, he hounds you. He just hounds you for 48 minutes. Whenever he's in the game, his on-ball pressure is insane. These 3 guys, you'll see him bouncing around, flying up the court, getting steals. These steals the Thunder get, shortening possessions for opposing teams, limiting their creativity on offense. The Thunder are controlling the game with their defense, which is catalyzing our offense. It all starts with defense, and the Thunder are the best of the best defensively. Defense wins you championships. Defense already won us one. And at this rate, defense is going to win us a couple more because that is how good we look right now. Offensively, word that comes to mind is efficiency. Okay, obviously our three-point shooting start of the season wasn't incredible. Okay, it's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better as we've gone here. Let's look at the Lakers game, though, for instance. Thunder shot 57% in that game compared to 47% for the Lakers. That will more than likely win you a game. Okay? Now, what is this efficiency evidence of? All right? I thought a lot about this watching these games. I thought a lot about this. It all starts with the top of your roster, right? SGA and Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams obviously hasn't played yet, but he hopefully will eventually slide into this discussion. Efficiency from top down, okay? SGA and Chet have been seeking out not just good shots, but great shots. And that is one of the differences that I'm noticing from last year's team and this year's team is the type of shots Shea mainly, Chet also are looking for. Okay? For instance, SGA goes 13 for 19 from the field against Charlotte. 13 for 19 last night. Last year we saw, or did I say Chet? Shea goes 13 for 19 from the field. We saw Chet against the Lakers go, I forget, was it 9 or 10 he made? He didn't miss a shot. He did not miss a shot. Made Thunder history for, I think it was his specific stat line on 100% shooting. No one's ever done that in our roster before. Okay? It might have an NBA history. I forget that stat. But he made history with his efficiency against the Lakers. Last year, we would see Shea shoot upwards 30 to 35 some nights. Shots, right? Which is great. We needed that. We needed that. But we are seeing the top and the bottom converge a bit. Our bottom is a very high bottom, okay? We have a roster full of dogs. Okay? AJ Mitchell, we would have considered him towards the bottom last year. He has improved to be our sixth man. Our legitimate sixth man. That's how good he is, right? Name a guy on our roster, and I'll tell you they've gotten better. Name a rookie, I'll tell you they deserve minutes. Okay? There's no liabilities out there. I hear J. Will's name being thrown around as having a bad year. J. Will's looked great. He's bringing the energy and the fire on the court, right? Facilitating, doing his thing. We're seeing guys break out. And I think it's symbiotic. I think it's very symbiotic. These breakouts are happening because Shea and Chet and other guys at the top are taking smarter shots, i.e. less shots, leaving open shots for other players because teams aren't going to let Shea and Chet beat them. But at the same time, Shea and Chet are so talented and so good at finding these shots, their scoring levels aren't going down. They're just taking better and less shots. This efficiency is going to carry us to greatness. Okay? And it is the catalyst, is our efficiency. Okay? And we're going to keep seeing guys break out as long as this keeps trending the way I think it's trending. The efficiency levels are getting better, and better. So all of this leads to pure, silky smooth basketball. Think of it like early morning, right? Head off to school when you're younger. Right? You go to the fridge, pour yourself a glass of chocolate milk, man. Drink that up. That's the smooth I'm talking about. That is the smoothness of this team right now. Defense leading to offense. Forcing turnovers, getting steals, leading to breakout buckets, helping our efficiency too. The Thunder's offense thrives on destroying the other team's possession. Okay? And that's what we're doing. Everything in basketball is symbiotic. Everything is symbiotic. And the Thunder are mastering the symbiotic nature of the sport in a way that I have never, ever seen. I don't know if we'll ever see again. But I hope that as guys get healthy, J-Dub comes back, the symbiotic nature of basketball only gets more interconnected. That would be a scary sight for the NBA. Scarier than we've ever seen. Anyway, that's my hot take. Best basketball I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Kind of more of a very naturalistic approach to what I was saying there. But, so I want to go through some specific shout-outs and some specific elements. I talked about efficiency from especially Shea and Chet. But I have some plays I want to present to you guys that kind of evidence the kind of play I'm talking about. The silky smooth nature of this game. I mean, if you watch it, it's just like poetry in basketball form. Okay? So first play I want to look at. These are all pulled from the third quarter of Thunder Warriors. The third quarter of Thunder Warriors this past week had my jaw dropped because it was play after play after play after play of silky smooth basketball. And when I think of this week, I think of this quarter. Okay? Obviously, there's moments in the Lakers game that were incredible like this too. But these are just plays I remember for reference. Okay? So, first play here. AJ Mitchell to Hartenstein. Hartenstein. Look at that. Look at that from Isaiah Hartenstein. Okay? That is what we're seeing from him. I've touched on his rebounding a lot in past episodes and how his rebounding is completely catalyzing everything else. We can go into our rebound. Our rebounding has been excellent this year. In the past, it's been a weakness. It's far from a weakness anymore. Okay, a lot of that has to do with Isaiah Hartenstein. But he has two jobs. Two jobs that he has to do for us to be as good as we are, and he's doing it perfectly. Rebound the ball. And what we saw in that last play, facilitate. How often do you see a five-man facilitate everything? Isaiah Hartenstein, he'll sit on that perimeter, pass him the ball, turn, look, and he makes plays. He makes the right play. That bounce pass, that wedge bounce pass we've seen so much this week. He's mastered it. He's mastered it and is doing his layups. If you have a big who can do that and also not be liability on defense, you don't see a big who can do it all like Isaiah Hartenstein does. But we have him, and we're so lucky to have him. Okay, so I want to shout out that. Keep in mind when you see Isaiah Hartenstein on the perimeter, it's like a key unlocking unlimited possibilities for possession. When Isaiah Hartenstein has the ball in a rhythm, he's gonna more than likely make a play. So that's an underrated aspect of our season so far that I think I wanted to shout out. Next, this next play we have is evidence of the humility of our roster. This play may look small to you. It may look like it's not anything too substantial, right? Let's look at it. Shea up the court. To the right wing. Up to Kaysen. Kaysen, one more Chet. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Rapid fire, right? We have a young guy like Kaysen Wallace, okay? Like Kaysen Wallace staying on the perimeter. A lot of young guys in this league look to score, right? You want to score to get yourself buckets. There's no egos in this roster. This roster plays with humility. They play for the team. They play for the win. No hesitation, extra pass, wide open guy, bang. It's like just, like I said, silky smooth. Drive, pass, bang, 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 pass. The poetry in motion of this roster is insane. I think back to the Spurs runs with Ginobili and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan and the way the token Spurs offense and how that ball flew on the perimeter. Drive, pass. Obviously, the Thunder It's not identical because there's a lot of penetration and a lot of facilitation from our top guy, right, Shea. But the Thunder have moments where they look like that. And as a defense, what do you do? What do you do when all 5 guys on the court can score and all 5 guys don't have an ego? You can't really stop that. Everything I say points to this team being historically great. And that's why I said 74-8. I'll keep going back to it all year. And that's what, I mean, so far we're on pace, guys. We're on pace. A lot of it has to do with our humility. Next play I want to look at is SGA. Take a peek at him real quick. Obviously, I talked about his efficiency. Look at him get to the rim here. Now that play right there, we can play it back. In stride, right? This is off a turnover or missed shot by the Warriors. SGA taking up the court. He sees Draymond Green backpedaling. Draymond Green, I'm sorry, you're a great defender. You were a great defender. Your time's up, man. Your time is up. It's gone. It's up. You're washed. Okay? Shea said, I'm attacking this. This is what we see from efficiency. That's why I said efficiency for Shea. This is the looks that he finds, whereas Shea, you should never pass. If this is the situation you're in, never pass the ball. Go get a bucket. And he does. He knows the game so well. He knows what he can do. He knows what he should do and shouldn't do. And he does it accordingly to perfection. And lastly, shout out to Chet Holmgren in this last play. Look at the way he gets to the rim, guys. Look at the way he just gets to the rim. Goes up on a smaller defender. Chet's efficiency, right? Brandon Pajemski, like a sitting duck, sitting there, go score on the guy. That's why he had a perfect shooting night the other night, because he's finding the right opportunities and scoring on them. He's finding the right opportunity. Thunder have no egos, okay? And perfect awareness right now. They know the game of basketball. Something in that coaching staff is going so right, okay? Guys know what they're doing. And with that, I want to get into my hats off for the week. All right, folks, welcome back to Hats Off for Week 5 of the Little Win Show, folks. So far, we refresh you on our standings for the year, okay? AJ Mitchell has 2 hats off. He's on a 2-episode streak. That's hats off winner, okay? Doing his thing. Also, Brooks Barnheiser has a hats off for his preseason play. And also Usman Jang. Those are our 4 so far. Who will get the 5th? Will we see someone new? Will we not? Let's find out. This particular player, 2 stat lines for his season I want to shout out right now. 8.4 points per game, 2.3 steals per game. Elite. He's an elite defender. That might narrow it down in your mind. If you're guessing, trying to guess along. Who could this player be? This past week, okay, and keep in mind, no Lou Dort playing this week. As a primary defender on 3 straight superstars. Ja Morant held to 11 points, 3 of 18 shooting. Stephen Curry, 11 points, 4 of 13 shooting. Luka Doncic, 19 points, 7 for 20 shooting. He has held 3 superstar players to subpar performances, hence leading the Thunder's dominant victories. Like I said, it all starts on defense, and defense has been at the helm, guided by this guy the past week. Plus, folks, hats off to Cason Wallace, everyone. Cason Wallace worth his first ever hats off on the Little Win Show. First of many, I hope. Cason, my man, you are turning into a great player in this league. Very, very quietly. You do not get the love and the respect you deserve, my man. You do not. And so I'm giving you some right now because you earned it for the week you had. You are an all-defensive first-team caliber player. Okay? In fact, you are locking guys up in a Lou Dort fashion. You basically have 2 Lou Dorts now. And, like I said, that play I showed earlier, with the humility he shows in the offensive end. Casey Wallace, guys, is a great offensive player. He will go get you a bucket. He shows no fear. This guy shows no fear as a very young player in this league. On the defensive end, he'll take on these guys one-on-one the entire game and stop them. And then he'll go on the other end, drive full court for a layup. We saw it in the finals, guys. We saw it in the finals, in the conference semifinals, in the conference finals. This guy's not afraid. His mentality is so there. It's so there. And like I said, I don't want to look future because I'm not going to, you know what? I'm not going to look future because we're in the present. We had these guys. We're going to enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. Because Casey Wallace, you are a great player in this league. I believe you are a future all-star in this league. And it's about time other people see that too. So, hats off to Casey, folks. Hats off to Casey Wallace. All right, folks, welcome to a new segment of the show called Around the League. Around the League. This is where we're going to take a peek at other things that are not Thunder related. Obviously, maybe it's NBA stuff, so it is indirectly Thunder related. So it's worth talking about, especially since I haven't seen you guys in 2 weeks. We keep talking about these teams we're playing, but it's good if you haven't been keeping up with the league-wide stuff, like I haven't at times, right? It's good to get a kind of grasp of what's going on, who's our competition, what are we looking like right now, because with us being so dominant, 13-1, it can be easy to just think we're so good that nothing else matters. But let me tell you, it does. In the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons are 11-2, folks, on an 8-game win streak. Detroit's looking like they're entering a new era, man, an era of greatness. They're definitely a player in the East this year. Cade, I have a buddy who's a big Pistons fan. He says, Cade and friends. Guys, this is not just Cade and friends. This is Cade and a good group of youngsters that, in many ways, reminds you of our young team we had, a year or two ago, kind of coming up out of the ashes. Keep an eye out for Detroit. Knicks are shortly behind them. Obviously, the Knicks have a great roster. I have trouble believing the Knicks can get out of the East and, get it done when it matters most. I just don't know if they have the guys and the dogs to do that. Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, obviously great players. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, great guys, great players. But is that mentality-wise going to get enough to get you out of the playoffs? I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not completely sold yet. But they're having a great year so far. After that, it's a mess. I was thinking, should I shout out other teams? But it's just so tight after that around the whole Eastern Conference. You have teams like Toronto in the top 5 right now. I mean, it's probably won't stick, right? Probably won't stick. Chicago had a great start, but they've slowed down a bit. Shout out to Josh Giddey, man. Josh is making waves in the All-Star conversations right now. So I say around the league, it's hard to get a clear grasp yet because we're still very, very early in the season. No one's really pulled ahead except for, honestly, us at this point. And even us, we could easily slide and, fall back down to earth. In the West, only one team has only lost 2 games. So only one team is 1 game behind us loss-wise. We're obviously 3 wins ahead of them. Denver 10-2. Obviously, start of the year, Denver and OKC, league-wide, it was widely thought that these are the two horses that are, until someone proves otherwise, are at the top of the pack. And like I said a lot, I wasn't doing the show, obviously, at the time, but last conference semifinals, I was saying this is the finals. Denver, OKC felt like the finals. And it's going to be a dogfight whenever we play them in February. I hate we play them so late in the season, but, they'll definitely try to get those views up for those games. Houston's 8-3. Obviously, they're looking great. Lakers, Spurs are follow, a game behind that. Wemby's scary. The Spurs don't scare me too much aside from Wembanyama. He is just a dominant force, and the game planning for that game is different than any other game you'll play because of just how different and unique of a unicorn Wembanyama is. After that, then you have the Suns, the Wolves, the Warriors. Obviously, we've seen a lot of these teams. Haven't seen the Wolves yet. They're a team that always finds their way in and will always make noise. But yeah, nothing too abnormal. Pistons is the main thing I wanted to touch on because I want to give them some flowers because Detroit basketball is back, baby, okay? It's back, and they're ready to make some noise. All right, folks, welcome to the Weather Report. To close out this episode, I want to kind of briefly touch on our upcoming week. Let me tell you, this is the easiest week we will have for a while, easiest week we've had all season. But can't go into it too confident. But I mean, look at this: 90.5%, 94.2%, 91%. We should exit this week 16-1, which is crazy to say. 16-1 is a good feeling, guys. But I'm not going to even, I was going to say a very real chance we have to be 16-1. I think it's a very likely chance we have to be 16-1. Doing this week at New Orleans tomorrow. We saw them once, obviously. I think they'll be hungry. Like every team will be hungry against us. They're 2-10. I predict that this will be one of those games, kind of like Charlotte, where we see the Thunder be a bit, not eager, but more willing to drop, play guys deeper into the bench like DC, Brooks, guys like that. So I think there could be some adversity with some lineup experiments. I predict 118-104 Thunder win, though. I think they get the job done. I don't think the environment will be too hostile. Wednesday versus Sacramento. Once again, we see these guys. We cannot escape the Kings. But in this game, the Thunder, I believe, will be debuting the City Edition uniforms, guys. Those are beautiful. Those are absolutely beautiful. Back to the 2019 roots, man, with, oh my gosh, with Russ, Paul George, and those light blue tribute to our Native American heritage of Oklahoma, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. We're back. Dark blue version. The court will be beautiful. Sacramento's 3-10, but they have had an absolute, for lack of better words, hellhole of a schedule, guys. Horrible schedule for Sacramento this month. I think they're better than the record shows. Obviously, they proved that in their first time playing this season, but Thunder kind of roared back, took them down dominantly in Sacramento. So I think Sacramento could come into this game a little bit discouraged. I can see a bit of, maybe some guys sitting in that game. I just don't know if they think they can beat us at this point, having lost to us twice already. But I think there's a good chance with Russ on that roster leading them mentally. I guess them coming in with a winning mindset. But I think it won't be enough. I think that will be in those jerseys and that feel, that crowd. I think we'll be fired up on that night. That's kind of the night this week I'm looking at as being the most fun in that environment. You look good, feel good, play good. 128-106 Thunder on Wednesday. And then Friday, 9 o'clock game in Utah. 4-8 Jazz. I think they'll come into this hot because they're, they want a shot at us. We haven't seen them yet. They're a young squad. These young guys will want a shot, take down the top dog, kind of like Portland. Kind of like Portland vibes. I think I can see us struggling a bit in this one. Late night, difficult road environment. No one's gonna want to hop on that plane and go to Utah. But you have to, and they will. And I think we'll get the job done. 106-95. But I don't think it'll be without its share of adversity. So with that, very brief, very quick, bang, bang, bang summary of what I think is going to happen this week. But yeah, like I said, a little bit of a shorter episode this week. I'm going to go traveling a bit tomorrow, guys. So yeah, I'm excited. It's so good to see you guys again, talk to you guys. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Obviously, you should be feeling pretty good about Thunder-wise, but let me know. Message me, hit me up. Follow me at OKC_will to win. You see it written right here. At OKC_will to win on Instagram. That is where I respond the most. That is where I'm most present throughout the week, posting my daily updates, daily recaps of Thunder basketball. You'll see me a lot on there. Also, if you like this show, if you like what you're hearing, thank you so much for watching, guys. You guys are the start of something here. Obviously, we're in the very beginning stages of this show. And you guys can be, founding contributors to this by your presence watching this video. So thank you all so much. If you like it, you want to stick around and come here next week at the Will to Win Show. You're watching it, it's a button right there. You can click it at the Will to Win Show. If you're on Spotify, you can follow there too. But yeah, with that being said, week 5, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully a more chill week, guys. More chill. Hopefully win by some bigger margins. That would be the dream. 16-1. Love to see it. And hopefully that's where we are in a week. So, with that being said, hope you all have an incredible week. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the other side. Baby, thunder up.